Welcome. Today we are taking a look at Habakkuk. The book of Habakkuk has some fascinating correlation to the end of time and to Revelation, how it's all connected. And we're going to get through that here today. Before we begin, we're just going to start with a quick word of prayer. Dear Father in heaven, thank you for your love and your kindness, Lord. Thank you for blessing us with this privilege to study your word. Please may you reveal, may your light show us your truth, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. So before we start actually reading the chapter, the book, the name Habakkuk. The name Habakkuk actually translates to embrace. So this is a book, that is to be embraced. Each chapter starts with a vision, and there are 3 visions in the 3 chapters that go through Habakkuk. So that's just to do the synopsis here.
All right.
Okay. Can I ask you to begin reading?
Sure. Okay. The burden which the prophet Habakkuk saw. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and you will not hear? Even cry out to you violence, and you will not save. Why do you show me iniquity, and cause me to see trouble? For plundering and violence are before me. There is strife and contention arise. Therefore the law is powerless, and justice never goes forth. For the wicked surround the righteous. Therefore perverse judgments proceed.
So, in that first verse, we see this idea of the doom that Habakkuk saw. Now, the word for doom here can be translated to the prophecy, or the prophecy that Habakkuk saw, basically. Habakkuk saw something, that is revealing the future. And now it begins with what time frame Habakkuk's vision is taking place.
All right.
And that's the beginning of this chapter, where this is a time frame that's happening where justice is no longer in power. A time frame where the wicked run rampant, as you read. A time frame where you cry out to the Lord of violence, a violence that is beyond what Habakkuk has ever seen before in his time. A true destructive end of time violence. We know that in Matthew it talks about how there'd be wars and rumors of wars, and a time where, just like in Matthew, that time where there is violence, where sin runs rampant, and where lawlessness is at its highest peak. So that's when this vision is beginning to take place.
That kind of mirrors how Revelation is, and how everything's going to be evil and violent just before the end.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is it's Habakkuk is setting the picture in these first couple verses of what kind of doom is taking place, of this prophecy that's taking place.
All right. When I first read this, I thought that he was describing his current time.
Yeah.
So this is future.
Well, because
or
it's
is it both?
It's not present, because it's the prophecy, the doom that Habakkuk saw. So it's a prophecy that Habakkuk has seen. It's not him describing what he's seeing around him. It's him describing the vision that God has shown.
Gotcha.
In my version, it says the burden.
Exactly.
Which Habakkuk the prophet did see. So whenever they're seeing something, it can either be literal or spiritually seen. And he's crying to the Lord about all these things that he's seeing. And it's not necessarily something that he's firsthand experiencing, it seems like. Because he's in vision from the look of it, at least to me.
Yeah. Habakkuk was written around contemporary to the time of Daniel, which means that the book of Daniel and Habakkuk are written within the same general lifespan. So this was written during Daniel's lifetime. Give or take.
So Habakkuk definitely did see some destruction. If you've got the Babylonians destroying Israel.
Yes, yes, there is, and that's where we get into the Chaldeans, which you're going to see. It is that mirror of the possibility. But yeah, it's talking here. Habakkuk, it's a burden. This is something that he is not enjoying seeing. He says, "Why, Lord, do you show me the violence?" Why is God showing him? It's not him asking why is there violence around him, but why is God showing him the vision of such violence, of such a time that is coming?
Yeah. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you.
Now, this part, just before we get into the Chaldeans, this part here is very interesting because it's saying, "Behold you among the heathens a work that they will not believe." We see here, immediately after that, it says something that the heathens, their mind's going to be blown by, and then it proceeds to give us a description of the heathens, the Chaldeans, which are heathens.
Mhm.
So these other nations, all the heathens in general, all the nations will marvel at what's about to take place with this one nation, these Chaldeans. So if you could keep reading.
All right. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land, to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves.
Now, these Chaldeans, this is very interesting. So the Chaldeans specifically, when they were part of the Babylon. Babylon, they were a specific Babylonian tribe. They're a kingdom known for their education, known for their astronomy and astrology. We see them in the Bible a number of times before.
Yes.
They were there at Job's, when Job, they were the ones who took Job's sheep. The Chaldeans were also the ones at Daniel, the story of Daniel, who couldn't interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Mm-hmm.
These Chaldeans are generally seen as the judgment of God throughout the Bible. But here we see these Chaldeans here, we have these descriptors of them, which don't seem to fully match the Chaldeans that we know during the time period that this was written.
Yes. And we shall see what they represent as we go through.
Yeah, but it's also possible that these guys evolved over time as far as they started off as a tribe, then a small village, and then a city.
Yeah.
Chaldea, just one of those things I happen to know, is northwest of Babylon. About the same distance between Douglasville is to Atlanta, if Atlanta was Babylon. Modern day, it is between, in Iraq, between the towns of Mahmadiyah and Yusufia on the banks of the Euphrates. It's, the ruins are, I'd say, a small city by our standards, but you can tell that the people there were very advanced. And the marketplaces in the city was broken up into intelligent. It was definitely what do you call it? Engineered by an intelligent people. It was nowhere near as big as Babylon. I'm sure it was nowhere near as beautiful.
Yeah,
but they had their act together.
No, they were known for their intelligence, and they were a tribe within Babylon.
Yes.
So you could lump them together in that regard. Yeah. Now, the description of these Chaldeans is very interesting. Where you see their bitterness, they're known for their bitterness and their hastiness. So hasty, possibly in the sense of hasty within their creation, and possibly hasty in the sense of hasty in their ideas, as in they're a nation who is hasty to take action in different capacities. Either way, we don't know. It could be both. But, there's this hastiness. They're a fast, hasty nation, a bitter nation. They march the breadth of the land, so...
It could be also that it says bitter and hasty, so they could be just quick to anger as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's another one. That's good. They take dwelling places that are not their own.
Well, it seems to me like that's just a carryover from ancient days, because if they were known as raiders back during Job's time, it makes sense that they would be like Middle Eastern Vikings,
Oh yeah.
just raiding the locals.
Oh yeah. 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 No. They also have terrible. That they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgments and their iniquity shall proceed themselves. We see here the word for judgment means exactly what it says. The judgment. So this is a nation who is known for judging other nations and finding them guilty or not guilty, or in whatever capacity, meddling in other nations' affairs. The root word for terrible is actually Amos, which means frightful. So they are a feared nation, a nation that is feared by other nations. The word for dreadful is actually morally fear, or to revere.
So feared and respected.
Exactly. So they're a respected nation, they're a feared nation, they're a nation known for their judgment, and the word for dignity, which means cheerfulness or exaltation in rank or exaltation of self. So they're a prideful nation that is feared, that is revered, and respected among their peers, that is incredibly self-exalting, and who judges other nations. These are the descriptors that we have here. Can you read from verse 8?
Sure.
Yeah,
8 to 11?
Just 8.
Oh, just 8.
Yeah.
All right. Their horses are also swifter than leopards, and more fierce than evening wolves. Their chargers charge ahead. Their cavalry comes from afar. They fly as the eagle that hastens to eat.
Yeah. So now we have animal descriptors of this nation. Once again, they're going really, really deep into the description of this nation, and it's for a very important reason. So what they have here is, number one, their horses are swifter than leopards. So horses is obviously their armies, because back then they ride into war on horses. So this idea that their armies are swifter than leopards. Now, if we go to Daniel, just from what we know about Daniel,
isn't leopards Greece?
Yeah. So in Daniel, they have the prophecies of the animals, where they saw the bear come out with the ribs, and the leopard, and the beast that could be unnamed, the lion, with all these different animals that we saw in Daniel's vision that were represented different time periods, starting with Babylon being the lion, and the leopard was Greece at that time, or Alexander the Great.
Okay.
One of the foster nations. So if this leopard here, if we're taking the animal correlation to the nations, just like we saw in Daniel, which is a book that runs close to this one, that would mean that we have this nation here has got a faster rise or faster army than Greece. So it's a nation that is faster than Greece, and then more fierce than the evening wolf.
Which would be Rome, correct?
Yes. Now, one of the reasons why it would be Rome is the story of Rome's creation, which was
the she-wolf.
The she-wolf
that fed Ramus and Remus. Yep. Yeah, she raised the twins, and I guess one was a little stronger than the other one, and he was the father of Rome. At least by legend.
Yeah. So within Roman legend, a wolf is incredibly synonymous with the nation. And also, Rome is the nation that is known for its fierceness at the time, because of it was the first nation to come up with iron, right? Iron swords.
Yeah.
And because of that, it was a beast, as we saw in Daniel, that had never been seen before. A nation with this iron that had never been revealed before.
Yeah, could shatter bronze.
Yes. So, if you're talking about fierceness, we're talking about Rome. So you have a nation here that is faster than Greece, fiercer than Rome, and now it says that their horsemen spread themselves, and their horsemen come from far, and their horses come from far. So horsemen, once again, that's their military. So this nation's military spreads itself far across the globe, and then comes back from far. So this is a nation that has conquered a large portion of the world. So it's an incredibly strong nation. And then we have, finally, and they shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. Now, with the eagle, it says they shall fly as an eagle.
They shall go abroad, is what I would think.
Yeah.
They would spread wide and far, and they wouldn't have any land to inhibit them.
I take the fly as an eagle to its prey as the idea of this nation attacks from the air. Which is, if you take it that way, then that's very interesting. Where this is a nation that swoops down as an eagle to its prey and attacks from a place that is unseen, if you're taking it in a non-literal context. If you're taking a literal context, then it's a nation that literally attacks from the air, which we obviously know the Chaldeans at that time did not have the capability for. And the Chaldeans at that time were not stronger than Greece, nor were they fiercer than Rome. They would have been Babylon, which was the lion, which was neither of those things. So we have here this nation. This nation is swifter than a leopard, swifter than Greece, fiercer than Rome, is across the globe, a global nation, and that attacks from above. Now, if you would keep reading from verse 9.
Okay. They all come for violence. Their faces are set like the east wind. They gather captives like sand. They scoff at kings, and princes are scorned by them. They deride every stronghold, for they heap up earthen mounds and seize it. Then his mind changes, and he transgresses. He commits offense, ascribing this power to his God.
So, we have here this nation. One of these characteristics of this nation is that it is a nation that essentially annoys and throws its weight around with all the other nations. This is a nation that is so powerful that it scoffs at the other nations, placing itself as the king of all, higher than all other nations, a global nation that scoffs in the face of other nations, and then thus places its power to its gods. Now the question can be raised, this nation, what is the god of this nation? We don't know yet. We got to keep reading.
Yes. But, just to give you I'm reading this right here and I'm thinking, I've done everything on this list.
Yeah. Okay. Jeremy, if you keep reading from 12.
Okay. Art thou not from everlasting, O Lord, my God, mine Holy One? We shall not die, O Lord. Thou hast ordained them for judgment, and, O mighty God, thou hast established them for correction. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue, when the wicked devoureth the man that is more righteous than he? And makest men as the fishes of the sea, as the creeping thing, that have no ruler over them.
Now hold on, because you can miss this very easily if you're not reading the passage very carefully here. Because we have here from verse 12 up to verse 13, we have this explanation of here God is here, and here we have this conversation where he's saying, we shall not surely die, the Lord is mighty. He's once again going to a descriptor of the time period. We're going through this nation, this evil nation. Now, why do we let this nation proceed? Why is, he eating up men that are more righteous than he? You know what I mean? This idea of God using this nation of this question, right? Behold, thou art purer eyes than to behold evil, and cannot look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and hold thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that is no more. So the wicked, so now this is description. Now here's the key point. The wicked man who devours the man that is no more, right? So that's talking about the wicked man. Then immediately after that, continuing that, it says, and make men as the fishes of the sea. So who is making men as the fishes of the sea? It is not God saying this. This is the continuation of the wicked man, of the listing the acts of the wicked man.
Mm-hmm.
Because just before it says, the wicked man eateth the righteous man, who is the man that is more righteous than he, and maketh men as the fishes of the sea.
Okay.
That's very easy to miss. But this idea of, as we keep reading, and maketh man as the fishes of the sea, the creeping thing that have no ruler over them. So he's saying the wicked man, who we know would be the Chaldeans, from what they just went through, from what we just read. The Chaldeans make men as the fish of the sea, and as a creeping thing that has no ruler over them. So that's one of the characteristics of the Chaldeans, not a characteristic of God. And it wouldn't make sense for this to be God, because why would God make man as one who has no ruler over him? Mm-hmm. God would never. The Chaldeans, this nation, makes their subjects as though there is no ruler over them, and makes their subjects like animals. Which, let's keep reading. Tony, can I ask you to read 15
Sure.
to 17?
All right. They take up all of them with a hook. They catch them in their net and gather them in their dragnet. Therefore they rejoice and are glad. Therefore they sacrifice to their net and burn incense to their dragnet, because by them their share is sumptuous, and their food plentiful. Shall they therefore empty their net and continue to slay nations without pity?
Now, we just saw that this nation makes men as the fish of the sea, makes men as animals. And then who do they worship?
Themselves and their prosperity.
Their net and their drag. Exactly. So this nation here is an atheistic nation. This is how you describe atheism. Atheism is the belief that men come from animals. Mm-hmm. This nation makes men as the animals, as the fish of the sea, and those who have no ruler over them. An atheistic nation who believes in materialism and prosperity over God.
It believes in doctrine of works.
Who sacrifices, exactly.
Yeah.
Sacrifices to their materialism and to their wealth.
Mm-hmm.
That's their God. This nation that courts himself above all these other nations does so in
their God is materialism.
In the God of money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is this nation. Now, so we've seen this nation from chapter 1, where they have these Chaldeans. Mm-hmm. Now, these Chaldeans might be the Chaldeans of the time of Habakkuk. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think so. Because with the Chaldeans, if you're just taking them as the Chaldeans of their own, they were a small tribe from Babylon. If you take the Chaldeans and put them into Babylon and say, well, Babylon as a whole, then maybe. Because Babylon was a nation who conquered the whole. Mm-hmm. Babylon was a nation who was ruler and who was very materialistic. However, Babylon was not a nation that was fiercer than Greece. Nor was it a nation that was, fiercer than Rome. Nor was it a nation that was faster than Greece. So there are still inconsistencies with that. Mm-hmm.
I also have an outlook on it.
Mm-hmm.
The people of this time would have known what the Chaldeans were like.
Yeah.
So it's giving symbological descriptors of these people. Mm. So it's not necessarily talking about the Chaldeans, because if they were a conquering nation and everybody respected them, everybody in this time period would know who they are.
Yeah.
So this is telling you that these are Chaldeans by a spiritual context and not necessarily a physical context.
Yeah.
And that they may have similarities, they are not the exact same.
Mm. A spiritual nation, and as we saw in the beginning, at the end of time, a spiritual nation at the end of time that has these
attributes
and has the spiritual connotation to the Chaldeans, mm-hmm. to the Babylonians, to Babel. The Tower of Babel in the beginning has the same spirit mm-hmm. of trying to build his way up, mm-hmm. just like the Tower of Babel. So we have a spiritual Babylon at the end of time, which is exactly what we see in Revelation. Revelation, the Babylon. What's the second angel's message? Babylon the Great has fallen, has fallen. We have Babylon, once again, spiritual Babylon here in Habakkuk. Now, what nation fits all the characteristics of that we see here in Habakkuk? A bitter and hasty
become
nation.
so divided and so bitter. All the years I've been doing this, I never thought we'd get to this point, but we are. Our troops don't wear a uniform that says I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. It says I'm an American. I'm an American. That's who I am.
A nation that takes the land to possess dwelling places that are not their own. They are a feared nation, a revered nation, a nation that is known for judging other nations.
The United States of America is the most powerful nation on earth, period.
We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line. Don't forget it.
I just want to tell you that America is the greatest place on earth.
A nation that is swifter than Greece, fiercer than Rome. Their horsemen travel to and fro throughout the entire earth. They attack from above, like possibly fighter jets or planes. They are known for their violence. They scoff at kings and rulers. This is a nation that imputes his power unto his God, that God being materialism, atheism, and self-indulgence. I believe that this nation that's talking about is the exact same nation that we see in Revelation. And in Revelation, I believe that that nation was a nation that came out of the land. A nation that came out of the land and not out of the sea, just like the pilgrims came into America. A nation that speaks like a lamb, beginning with Christianity, a nation that seems to be Christian, but turns out, but when it speaks like a lamb, but looks like a dragon, but when it turns out that that nation is actually an atheistic nation, I believe that it is America. I believe that America is what Habakkuk is talking about in chapter 1, and I believe that is why there's so many characteristics to describe this nation, because Habakkuk chapter 1 is going through the rise of America and through a work that is going to happen within it that is so marvelous that the heathens will not believe it.
Well, I have never read a passage in the Bible that doesn't just describe a situation or a people. This describes me personally. When I was in the Army, I was a cavalryman. Okay? I didn't ride a horse, but I rode armored vehicles. When I mean, do we scoff at kings? Obviously. If we found a prince of an Arabian nation, we probably would have used his headdress as to dry our hands off after coming out of the bathroom. So yeah, we definitely scoffed at kings. This one right here, where they heap up earthen mounds, okay? It's called the Hesco barrier. When we would take an area in Iraq, we would get these it looked like caged cardboard, and we'd fill them up with dirt and build quick walls and make a fortress. We can build a fortress within a day. Of course, our vehicles were swifter than horses, and more powerful fiercer than wolves, of course. But I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, I've done that. I know what that is. Yeah, this was me. Had I known that this was going to take this turn, I would have brought my Stetson hat and worn my spurs for this video. But yeah, this was us in Iraq. Absolutely. And my area of operation was Chaldea, or the greater. I was around Chaldea. I passed by Chaldea a lot. I mean, driving from Mahmudiya to Yusufia, where we had one of our units stationed, and we'd bring them supplies and stuff. Yeah, that's me. I took part in this. I was one of the heathens, apparently. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. I mean, it's just amazing when you could read the Bible and you see yourself in there.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Bible is deep, y'all.
And I always wondered, because Revelation and the other books, they don't get as deep into America. You would imagine it being the dominant superpower at the time, that it would go deeper into it. But that's because Habakkuk does.
Mm-hmm.
And other, there are other places that go into it. It's just so perfect.
Mm.
But yeah, no. There is a work that is going to be so unbelievable that they will not believe it. That the heathens will not believe that that's about to happen. And we're going to see what that work is next time.
Well, this has been Fountain of Light Ministries. Guys, please leave your comments and let us know what you think.